It's Karen Dahlman here, one of the directors at the Talking Board Historical Society. Now, I think all of you have done this before. You've gone to Google or some search engine and typed in Ouija or Ouija board. And what pops up in the top part of it is something really cool called Web Ouija. Now, if you don't know about it, I highly recommend you go to this website. Basically what it is an electronic Ouija board and planchette. Ask your questions, get your answers, and you let me know if you think it's real or not. But it's a lot of fun. And also, the reason why I'm telling you about Web Ouija is because it's a portal. It's an opening into the Museum of Talking Boards. Now, this is the internet's leading website for everything Ouija and talking board related. And today, we have the wizard behind this wonderful website, the man with the plan, who's also Talking Board Historical Society's Chief of Staffs, Gene Orlando. So welcome, Gene. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Karen. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here because you have a huge collection and you know so much about talking boards.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, and thanks for the intro.
Yeah.
Right. I've got some to share with you today. Would you like to see them?
We would love to see him. So would you bring, and you guys, he's got, this is what's so cool about his collection. He's got some really unique and sometimes one of a kind that we can only find one of. So please start with whatever you want to start with, Gene.
Great. Okay. Well, I thought what I would do would be to share some of my favorite boards. And some of you that know me already know this, so put that on the back burner. But the rest of you who don't, who might never have seen these boards before, I think you might find this interesting. So my first board is my Mystifying Oracle. It's heavy. It's from the 1930s, and it was made by William Fuld just for a short period of time.
Okay.
And this is it right here.
Oh my gosh. That's made out of metal, right, Gene?
Right. And it's all metal. The interesting thing about this is that it was the first electric Ouija board. Now you say electric, and why is that? Well, because it has a planchette that lights up as you slide it over the board. Now, of course, Hasbro came out with theirs, but it didn't work too well.
No, I don't like that one.
We all know. But this one actually works excellently, and I'm going to show you how it works.
Gene, there's little bumpy things on there. What are those bumpy things on the board? It looks like...
The bumps on the board allow the planchette to light up as it slides over the board. Now, unfortunately, I can't do it holding it up like this. I'm going to do a video on it so that you can actually see how it works, but I can show you the planchette.
That's wild.
It's heavy. It's about the size of an iron that you would use to iron your clothes. It's just massive. It weighs about, 2 pounds, and has a big battery in the back. It'll hold a C battery now, which is kind of nice, but I'll light it up for you. The little switch on like this. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, we can see that. That's lit up.
Yeah, and on the back side, you can see the construction of it, which is really interesting. Here's the battery, and actually the original bulb is in there.
Oh my gosh.
And then it has a little switch, and you can see the thing light up. So as that glides over the board and hits those bumps on the board, give you a closer look at those bumps.
Oh, yeah.
You can see one there between the O and the Q, that little gold bump. That's what...
Clever.
So now this board is also interesting for another reason, and that is, for those of you that know the classic Ouija board and recognize the people down in the lower corner, this was the first board to show the people in kind of a negative look.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's striking and spooky. I love it.
Right. That became the standard for all Ouija boards until 1998, when they went to the glow-in-the-dark board, right through Parker Brothers and everything else. So this is probably my rarest and all-time favorite board here. Unfortunately, you won't see more of them around because most of them were recalled. It was at the beginning of the Great Depression when these things came out. They were recalled for their metal and they were trashed, thrown away. And so not too many of them exist. I think we know about maybe 4 or 5 in existence today. So this is very rare, very heavy.
And it's a beauty. Now I got a question how for you, because you use the board, you and I both use the board. How does that planchette work for you when you're moving it around? Is it hard for the spirits or energies to move it, or is it easy?
It's very easy to move, and the reason is because they were smart enough to do this, and that's with ball bearings on the bottom of the board. Can you see that?
See that, absolutely.
So those ball bearings allow it to slide very easily. It wasn't a problem. Otherwise, it wouldn't move at all because it's so heavy. But this actually slides very nicely. So it works beautifully.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I love that board.
Very Fuld.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What other kind of goodies do you have to show us? You guys are going to see some really interesting, unique, rare boards. And by the way, at our event we're having, the Helen Peters event, are you bringing any of these rare boards we're seeing today, or will you bring just other ones for us to see?
Well, I'm going to also bring a very rare board. It's the Ouija PPF, and it was made by Isaac Fuld, which is William Fuld's brother. And the interesting thing about the PPF board is that we didn't know what PPF stood for the longest time, and then it became so obvious we were like smacking ourselves in the head. Why didn't we know that? Past, present, future.
I love it. That's right.
So it just says PPF on the board, and we're like, what does that mean? And it has, well, you'll see it at the event.
So you guys got to come out to the event to see this board that he's going to bring. He's not showing it today. So what else do you have to show us?
Well, my favorite working board. Now, a lot of us use Ouija boards. I know you do, and I like to use them too. Now, we probably vary in where we think we get the messages on this, but that's fine because we all have different opinions. But I love the messages I get through my board. My favorite working board is this one that was made in 1975. It's called the Ziria board.
That is such a cool board. I know the people that use the same board and they love it. They absolutely love it. It's beautiful.
What I like about it is the word salad design. You have, instead of letters and numbers, which you also have, you have words. So you can quickly string your words together and make a sentence, and it works very fast. So that's my favorite board. And for the planchette on that, I use a magnifier.
Oh, nice.
And that slides very smoothly across the board, and it kind of brings, the words pop right out at you.
Okay, then if it goes over it picks 4 or 5 words, how do you know which word it stopped on?
So, it's the same thing as when you're using a regular Ouija board and your planchette points to a letter. You just know.
Okay, you know what? There's an intuitive aspect of it. You're absolutely right about that. That's great. I'm glad you brought that up.
Exactly. Yeah, because, we want to make sense of what we're seeing, and our brain does that, or the spirits do that. And that's how we determine what our messages are going to be. And so with this, it's very, very quick, very, very easy. And it's kind of a cool board to use, too.
What circuit is that board, Gene?
This is called the Ziria Message Board Adult Party Game. And it was made in 1972 to 1975.
Hey.
It was made by 2 people in New York. They just tried putting it out. The original board was yellow. Mm-hmm. And then E.S. Lowe, the toy company, took it over, made the blue one, and then sold them in all the toy stores. And it became the Ziria, the message board. And they show up all the time on eBay. So if you guys want to get one, just search on eBay, and you can pick one up. Sometimes they're kind of... they look kind of dirty because the glue and the paper don't mix too well over the years. It's kind of faded, and still get good ones. Anyway, if you can get one at all, do it. If not, if you have a regular Ouija board and you just want to put words on with a marker or something like that, that's an interesting way to do things too. A lot of people will do that.
And I know people that make their own boards, and Gene, what they'll do is they do that kind of concept. They'll add some similar words, like words that mostly you use, like things look good, things don't look too good, more phrases, and they can go to it, or love, or fear, or happy, and they'll write that onto their own boards they make. I've seen so many really cool homemade boards. So guys, definitely you can consider putting that on your board, like Gene just mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. That's customizing your own board makes it work even better for you.
Yeah. Now, talking about customized boards, should we talk about this little guy back here? You have one too.
Let's do that. Yes, I have one just like that. We're talking about Rick Shreck's amazing.
There we go.
the Gleason Board Company. It's the old, reliable Gleason embalming board. This was made from a real embalming table by Rick Shreck, one of our directors, who also did that board behind you, and gifted me this board here, which is one of his early ones, which I'm really happy to get.
That's nice. Yeah, you have mine's a little later, but mine you have the dark Ouija. Okay, so what mine is, here's mine. But let me tell you what's cool about mine. Ta-da! House with 1,000 tattoos on the back.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. The back of mine has his special checkerboard.
Oh, that's lovely. See, isn't this fun, you guys? So look, even if you make your own boards. Now, Rick does sell these, though. But if you make your own boards, too, you can do something like this. You can have both sides to them, and you can get real clever. I got to tell you, this little coffin planchette works like a charm. I love it. I love the energy that comes with it. I love the fact it's embalming rails it's made from, and it works fantastically. I've talked about this on my show before. So, anyway, this is a fun one. Custom made.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, you look at something, you think about, well, how many bodies were embalmed on this thing?
Ooh, I know.
Right? It's kind of creepy, but kind of cool at the same time. You think to yourself, well,
it's called creepy cool.
Hey, if anything, you get spirits. This can.
Oh yeah, this brings in the spirits, guys, for sure. Now you have a haunted board, I think.
Well, yes, I have a haunted board. Actually, having the Museum of Talking Boards for the last 20 years on the internet, I've gotten some incredible stories from people. They write me and they say, well, this happened, that happened. And some of them are pretty wacky, but some of them are fun too. And I think this one is one of the more fun stories. This is a Haskell Mystic board.
What?
And you can, it's got a little bit of a problem here. So this is from Louisiana. And it came from a ranch down there. And the sender told me the story behind it. Now, they found this in their attic, in the ranch house, in a chest. And on the top of the board was the Bible. They had the Bible in there, and the chest was locked. They had no key. They think it belonged to their great-grandparents.
Oh, wow.
The ranch had been in their family for many, many years. So they actually had to break into the trunk. To open it, and they found some other items too. But this was the interesting one, is particularly with the Bible on it. So amazing.
Do you know the story behind who burnt it or why?
Well, yes. So that's coming up. So of course it didn't have the burn in it at the time. It was just a regular board. So they took it out to the barn and they said, well, let's try it out. We have to try it out. So they didn't have a planchette, so they used this.
What?
That is a rooster claw. They used it as a pendulum over the board.
Oh, wow.
They didn't know, how a Ouija board really worked, so they used this as a pendulum. Well, they had the board surrounded with candles, and they were doing their session, and it kept spelling out F-I-R-E over and over again. Fire, fire, fire. They couldn't get anything out of the board. And then all of a sudden, she tells me, the board erupted in flame from the center and started to burn. And I said, come on. I said, are you sure the candle didn't fall over on it? Because it's usually the simplest answer is the right one, right?
Yes.
She says, definitely not. She said the thing just started to burn, and she said we just let it burn for a minute, and then we put it out. And immediately after that, following that, she said she looked through it, and when she looked through it like this, she said she saw flames, and she said she felt sick and disoriented, and she said she immediately had to put it down. And I said, well, what do you mean you saw flames? She says, I saw flames. It was like a fire in a fireplace or something like that. There were actually flames. And I said, well, they weren't coming from the board. She says, no, I saw them in the distance. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of weird. So she put the board back into the trunk that it came from, put the Bible back on top. But following that, over a period of weeks, there were unexplained fires all around the ranch.
What?
Yes, so a fire would spontaneously start in one part of the ranch, would start in another. And she just says completely spooked her. She says she was convinced that the reason that was happening was because she'd opened the portal with this Haskell Mystic board.
Goodness, wow. Who knew that Hasco could open portals to that? Wow, crazy.
There's a portal right there. So
Yeah, I can see you through it.
So usually when these people contact me, it's out of desperation. They're like, please take my board, please. And now when they do that, they all go to the Talking Board Historical Society, and we keep them and resell them and use them as a profit maker. But sometimes I keep them for myself. This was one I couldn't resist. So.
I think I would have kept that too. And now let me ask you, do you have any weird experiences with that in your home?
Well, I'd like to tell you that I keep this in my fireplace just to be safe.
Oh, that's smart.
But honestly, what amazes me is not what's haunted, but what isn't haunted. And I'll give you an example of that. 2 blocks from my house is a mortuary where they used to bring all the suicides from the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, man.
It was an interesting story. It was like if someone jumped off on the south side, the body went to San Francisco. But if it fell off on the north side, it came to us in Marin County. And our local mortuary down here, Russell and Cooch, took all of those bodies. And it must have been probably hundreds of bodies over the years.
Wow.
When they went out of business, they changed it, and now it's a daycare center. It's a preschool. So if there was ever a place to be haunted, wouldn't that be it?
I would think so.
Nothing. I mean, it's just,
Oh.
Yeah, it's just a great place. Everybody loves it. And, also, something like this. I mean, this is Rick's Planchette. If there was ever anything that was going to be haunted, this would have to be it. I mean, how many bodies were embalmed on this? I mean, they can't have all have gone peacefully, right?
Well, and I'm thinking the reason why Rick did want to make it out of this is because he wanted to bring in the aspect of, you guys, Rick, he'll be on this show here real soon, and you guys all know him, Rick Shreck from the House of Shreck. But let me tell you what, he wants to get haunted, and it hasn't happened to him yet. That's why he keeps collecting boards. So.
Yeah. Well, I've investigated hauntings for probably, let's see, over 50 years now, and
wow.
I've been to everything from haunted houses to Virgin Mary apparitions to everything in between, Bigfoot sightings, and
Ooh.
I love that stuff. Growing up, and honestly, I have my doubts. I'm waiting to be convinced.
So, gosh, you brought up Bigfoot. I mean, that's one of my favorite cryptids. I love Bigfoot.
Yeah, but we're right here. We're right in California, Bigfoot country.
Yeah, he's in Northern California. I'm in Southern California, and we have him down here too. But there's a lot more up in Northern California, so that's really cool. So, do you have anything else you want to show us today?
Well, I would like to show you our official Talking Board Historical Society board.
Love it.
And this is something that you can buy today at tbhs.org. And I suggest that you get one if you're a collector, if you're just, because who knows how long they'll be around, right?
That's right.
If you're not a collector and you just want to help support us, you can do that. Not very expensive.
No, it's not. What kind of wood is that, Gene?
This is a really nice heavy board. It's very thick.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and it got a really nice smooth finish, and it works very well. We don't have the planchette for it. You can make your own. We're getting planchettes soon, and hopefully those will be available. But right now, you know how to do it, right? If you know anything about Ouija boards, you can use any planchette you like. Anything
works as a planchette, you guys. One of the coolest things that I use is a plastic lid, and I cut a little hole in it for an indicator. Or, get this, you guys, a CD, an old DVD or CD works great. You have a little hole in the middle, they move around nicely. So yeah, anything. But Gene and I also wanted to tell you a little bit about an event that's coming up. It's coming up on September 22nd. It's our Helen Peters event, and you see anything you go and support us on the website and buy, such as the Talking Board Historical Society official board, or one of these T-shirts like I'm wearing one of them. Gene has one on. It's nonprofit, so all the proceeds, 100%, go to preserving and celebrating the history, this rich history of talking boards for these events that we put on. Gene, you want to tell them a little bit about what's coming up on September 22nd? Sure.
Well, we're going to meet at the cemetery where Helen Peters is buried. We're going to dedicate her monument to her. Should be a lot of people there. We have a $5 donation, hopefully. And That's going to be nice. And we're going to move over to History Colorado Center, where we're going to have an sort of an after party where there's going to be all of us meeting, where there's going to be food, drinks, all kinds of Ouija memorabilia for you to buy, Ouija boards. You're going to be able to see a complete set of Ouija boards from the very beginning to House Roads today. So that should be really, really fun. We also have Paul Noffsinger. He's a magician. He's going to be doing a little show. So that should be fun. A great way to meet us. Ask us any kind of questions you want. I mean, I know you all of you have questions about the Ouija board. Every time we have one of these celebrations, everybody has things to say about their own personal experiences and questions for us. So we're there for you. We also are going to have, I mean, there's going to be so much stuff. Little things like this. This is a very cool pin.
We sell those on the website now, you guys, but we're going to have them there as well. They're beautiful pins.
Yes, and on the back it honors Helen Nosworthy, and it tells all about her. So, I mean, it's just all this stuff. This is just such a great get-together for everybody. I know you're going to love it if you come, so tickets are...
I agree. And we all are going to be there for the Talking Board Historical Society, as Gene mentioned, and we have some special guests, too, that are showing up, as he mentioned already, one of them. We have raffles. We have all kinds of cool things going on. So come on out September 22nd. You can learn more about it at our website, tbhs.org/events. The link is here, and the link is below. But you guys, thank you so much for all your support, and thank you for always joining us on the Talking Board Historical Society Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, because more videos will be coming out of the future events and all the people that are part of this group talking about what's going on in the Talking Board world. Well, Gene, it's been an absolute delight having you with us here today. Thank you so much for sharing some of your special, unique boards.
Thank you, Karen.
You're very welcome. Bye, you guys. Until next time, happy boarding.